Hi, everyone. So I'll just be starting the presentation. Just to introduce myself, I am the moderator for today. I'm going into my second year of software engineering at Carleton University, and I'm so excited for our webinar today. Like Doina said, I will be keeping track of your questions, so don't worry if we don't answer them in the moment. They'll all be there at the end.
We did that. Yeah, we already mentioned that. So now we can go to the video.
Great. So we have a short video to help you understand just the program a little bit better.
STEMingUP is a 2-year program. It's designed for girls that are generally high school age, and it focuses on the fundamentals of computer science while building skills and working on their portfolio. They feel that they're just users of technology when they should also be the creators of technology.
It's so exciting that we have these girls coming in who aren't even sure they fully understand what code does, and then leave and later on go to do amazing, incredible things.
If you think about it, everything around us in our daily lives is a product of STEM.
We get to be taught by industry leaders and people who are actually doing the things that we're learning.
You have the support of the volunteers, of your peers, and being able to try new things, knowing that you're going to be supported, gives you that confidence.
And we're back. Yes, so thank you for watching that. I want to let you know a little bit more about the program right now. So some of you probably already heard about STEMingUP program, and some of you haven't, but if you haven't, and even if you have, correct me if I'm wrong later. So STEMingUP, it's a 4-week course preparing 14 to 17-year-old girls for a career in technology. This is STEMingUP's third year, and in the past, we have worked with girls in small groups where they learn about business and technology in a very engaging way. We worked with companies such as Shopify, and and then we help prepare young women to explore the fundamentals of computer science. We also had industry professionals from various companies who facilitated sessions on marketing, finance, design, branding, and pitching, to name a few. In the program, participants create solutions for a set of provided challenges using design thinking and group work. At the end of the program, the groups will each have the opportunity to present their solution to an audience from of classmates, mentors, family, and friends. During the program, students will also be able to work with coaches who support them along the way. And at the culmination of the 4-week program, students will be matched with a mentor for 6 to 8 months, in addition to having the opportunity to work with other teammates to implement the solutions they come up with. And I know you're all wondering when the program will take place. And this year, our program starts on July 27 and it ends on August 21st. Typically, our classes in the past were from Monday to Friday from 10 to 4, but given that now we will be doing this online, we're looking at having shorter sessions. We want to make it easier for you and engaging. And we'll start with morning sessions covering business principles, and the afternoon session will split into JavaScript or Python, depending on your cohort. The afternoon sessions will be a mixture of fundamentals of computer science and live coding sessions. And you are encouraged to ask questions and have studying groups with your peers and teachers to help you continue learning. Our goal is for you to learn as much as you can during the program and to support each other. Yes, so where will the program take place? The sessions will be online. I think I mentioned a little bit earlier, but yes, we will be online, and once you register for the program, we will send you all the registration links for you to have for each day. And how will the program be delivered? Ooh, exciting. So schedules for each session will be sent to you ahead of time. Resources will be sent to you to review independently. And then we will then have online sessions to act as a supplement to help answer questions, be exposed to new learnings, and get the peer support that you need. And the more you show up, the more you learn. Obviously, this is a given. And who will deliver the content? most importantly will be you. You are going to bring your ideas and your principles into this program. We want to see your suggestion into the challenges that we're going to have. And then the coordinator of the program will help. We're trying to get one for you to make sure that you have the assistance that you need throughout the program. But what's really exciting is we will have industry professionals that will share business knowledge and your coding. And then you're also going to have your coding teachers that will help you along the way with coding principles. And then I'm very excited to tell you that how we'll make this better is we focus on long-term learning first and foremost. And we want to allow you to support yourselves beyond the program. You will have enough guidance. However, we encourage flexibility as well. So we'll pair you with a mentor at the end of the program, and we'll support you with your career goals, and everyone helping you with is trained professionals, share real work experience. So we do not believe in having someone who read a book to teach you a theory. We bring you real people who are living their professions. And one of them you're going to hear from today, that she's going to speak on our virtual panel. So if you have any questions, by the way, at any time throughout this presentation, please do ask them in the chat box, and Pareen will make sure we answer them at the end of the day, at the end of the session. And as mentioned earlier, we will have our Instagram stories on our Instagram account, and we'll answer all this throughout the day. So don't be disappointed. And thank you so much. Pareen?
Amazing. Thank you, Doina, for all the information. Let's slow down a little, switch gears, and answer a fun little question. So you should all see a poll pop up on your screens.
Wow, looks like everyone had the opportunity to either learn something new or simply recharge. And I would love to see some of the art everyone created. I hope everyone is still taking care of themselves during this time and connecting with people that you care about. Oh, so right, so thank you for the poll session. Like I mentioned, I really hope that everyone is still taking care of yourselves and you during this time, and you connect with people you care about. I hope you're using a lot of online resources that are out there for that. So yes, Pareen.
Great, everyone. So thanks for engaging in our poll. Right now, I'm very excited to introduce you to some of our panelists. They vary from mentors to even students in the program and professionals. For all of you entering this webinar, please remember to ask your questions in the chat section, and then that's how we'll be able to convey them to the panelists. And remember that if you have anything specific, or maybe you don't want to mention it right now, we will be answering the rest on our IG questions. Perfect. So let's start with Doina Oncel.
Okay, so hi everyone. You already heard me talking earlier, but let me introduce myself again. So I am Doina Oncel and the founder of VOLUTION. I founded this organization because I realized that young women from diverse backgrounds who are interested in pursuing career in STEM might need some extra support that didn't exist at the time. I wanted to see more diversity included at the table because it was very important to me that everyone was included in the development of the future and not simply live in it. This is why the STEMingUP program was created.
Great. Now I'm going to pass the mic on to Ewuraesi to start. I will ask that each panelist answer the question and then nominate another panelist to answer it as well. That will be our fun little way of passing on the virtual mic.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ewuraesi, and I'm a social impact manager at Shopify, focusing specifically on computer education outreach. I'm going to pass the mic over to Marki.
Hi, everyone. I'm Marki. I am a front-end developer at Shopify. My specific title is Staff UX Developer. This summer, I will have been at Shopify for 4 years. And for the last 2 years, I've been volunteering with STEMingUP. And I'm currently working with a few of the girls to build an e-commerce website for a merchant. And we've been doing that every weekend. And now I'm going to pass it on to Sanaa.
Hey everyone, my name is Sanaa and I'm a first-year computer science student at Carleton University, and I'm also a back-end developer intern at Shopify. I was in the STEMingUP program in 2018 as a participant, and now I'm a dev degree intern. So now I'll be passing on the mic back to Pareen.
Great. So my first question for all of you is, just to learn a little bit more about your journeys. Can you tell us a little bit more about your journey, how you really started, and, would you change anything if you want to go back? I want to start with Doina.
Okay, so my story is quite unique. So I came from Romania at a young age, and I had to break a few barriers on my own when I got here to help me navigate my way into Canada. I experienced a few challenges as a low-income youth at risk. I was homeless a few times, and I had to depend on social assistance. It was hard for someone that didn't speak English to get a job and didn't have the Canadian experience. Through that, I knew firsthand that it's not easy. It really isn't an easy way to follow my passion. So after I explored a few careers, such as hairdresser, you never know that people look at the hair. This is pandemic hair. As a hairdresser, early childhood educator, afterwards I became a social worker to help young women that, like myself, were facing barriers of their own. I've had a huge passion for supporting women. This is where I learned that young women are facing new challenges to enter STEM careers, and I wanted to change that. My challenge then was that I didn't understand how it all worked. I didn't understand how, what is STEM and how does it all work. And my barrier was that I felt that in order for me to create a nonprofit organization that focuses on getting women in STEM, I thought I would have to be someone that is in STEM. But, there really isn't anything that I could change right now, because jumping in and doing it how I did it, I felt it helped me learn so much about STEM, where I know what STEM stands for versus a whole lot of other people that don't know, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And, my focus still remains to create opportunities for young women like you, and to break barriers in these fields with the programs that I introduce here. I know that you can do it, and I have seen it in the past year. So many young women from all programs that have made me so proud. So I'm going to ask Marki to go next.
Thanks, Doina. Okay, well, I actually was really lucky. Earlier this week, Shopify launched a podcast called Life at Shopify, and I was the very first person they interviewed. So it's on Spotify if you want to hear about my very long journey, or maybe we could even post it later if anyone's interested. And
it's on our social media. I posted it today, so you can find it on our Twitter, on LinkedIn, or on Facebook. So it's there with the link.
Thanks, Doina. But for people who aren't going to listen, the quick TLDR was that, I was working at a company, and I just really felt like everything about this company was in the past. I really felt like I was living in Mad Men, if you're familiar with that TV show. I felt like I didn't see any women in leadership. And I felt most of the women in this organization were either assistants or just didn't feel good. Couldn't see a lot of women in the roles that I wanted to be in. And on top of that, they were just kind of like an old school company. They weren't into thinking about the environment. They weren't into progressive ideas. So I made a list at that point in my life, and I kind of listed 10-ish things that I wanted in a company. And then I decided to make a change and start figuring out how I could work at a company like that. And one of my main things was that I wanted to work at a company where I lived in the future and not in the past. And I love solving problems. I really loved math. Math was my favorite subject. I'm really not great at writing or English or spelling. And I felt like problem solving and coding could really work for me. So that's what I ended up doing. And I actually went to Humber and did their 1-year web development program. I had already gotten an honors Bachelor of Science from the University of Toronto in zoology. So it was kind of like a postgraduate course, but that kind of allowed me to get into programming and become a developer. And on that note, I will pass it on to Sanaa.
Thank you. So I started with STEM back in 8th grade, and I did a little coding activity on Khan Academy. And from there, my journey with STEM has been more of a hobby. So I took part in like computer science courses and a few STEM workshops, but I didn't really consider it a career for me until I was a part of STEMingUP back in 2018. So during this program, I was essentially like creating a product, and it helped me realize that I really liked what I was doing, and computer science was in fact something that I wanted to like see myself doing in like as a career in the future. And that's what I'm doing, and here I am. And if I were to go back, what I would do differently is I would like to get myself more involved with STEM events and exploring the various careers in STEM and networking with more women in STEM earlier on. And with that, I'll pass it on back to Ewuraesi.
Thanks. For me, I think my journey is maybe similar to Doina's in that it came from a desire to address a need in my life. And that was speaking specifically in trying to build relationships with my family. I live in Canada, and the rest of my family lives in Ghana. And so I wanted to be more intentional in finding time to spend with them. And as I came out of school and was job searching, I found that the tech industry was one of the few that allowed me to fully immerse myself in my work, while also allowing me to take a step back and really pour into my personal relationships. And that's really incredible and important to me. Once I got involved in the tech industry, I found a level of excitement and passion that I hadn't had for anything else prior. And that came from being a woman of color and not necessarily seeing examples of people who looked like me in the industry. And that kind of started my journey into trying to work towards bringing sort of underrepresented or underserved people access or gateways of entry into the tech industry. So now that's what I do at Shopify. And I don't think that I would do anything differently, because I think all of my experiences and choices have led me here, and I absolutely love what I'm doing now. So I wouldn't change a thing. Back to Pareen.
Thank you all for that. It's amazing to see like how the different journeys can lead you all here. And so with that, my second question is, what obstacles did you face when you were first trying to get involved in STEM? And how do you feel about those now that you have potentially overcome them or are still figuring out ways to deal with them? Let's start with Sanaa.
So a few obstacles that I faced was a lack of mentorship I had earlier on, since I didn't have that many female figures in my life that had pursued a career in STEM. So this changed when I started STEMingUP and I was involved in their mentorship program. And my mentor was actually from Shopify. And I do still talk to her now after like a year and a half. And so she really helped me realize that there are so many female developers both at Shopify and Citrix, and they all basically gave me this sort of community to like build off of. I also battled the feeling that I didn't have the skills or the right mindset to pursue a career in STEM. And this was due to the lack of experience that I had earlier on. Looking back on it now, I feel like there was no such thing as like not having enough skills or like the experience, and that I just needed to have that push from others to realize that I was more capable than I deemed myself to be. And with that, I'll pass the mic to Marki.
Thanks, Anna. I would say that So what happened was when I decided to make this change and I made that list, I started to work at a tech startup in Toronto. So startups are really small places. It's like 10 people. I think I was employee number 12. And when you're in a startup, you're really wearing a bunch of different hats. So for them, I was doing like their events and some admin work, but I was also doing their e-newsletter and some graphic design work. And I said to them, I'd be happy to do that. I'd be happy to wear lots of different hats, but I wanted to be a front-end developer. Like that was my goal. I wanted mentorship. I really wanted to become that. And that's why I was joining their company. But after almost a year with the company, I wasn't getting mentorship. I knew that I wasn't going to get a job there as a front-end developer. And it was really tough because I was good at my job. I was good at being this kind of jack of all trades, but that's not what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to have a career, a technical career as a developer. So I had to make the decision to leave the company. And it was either I go join another startup and try again with a new founder or take a program. And what I did is I decided to do the program at Humber instead. And the reason why I chose that program was because they had an internship. And I just knew I had to get my foot in the door someplace. And I just knew normally internships do have like mentorship and other people there to support you. So I just needed to kind of stay true to my goal there. And with that, I'll pass it to Doina.
Oh, thank you, Marki. So for me, my obstacles was that, I come from a social work career, hairdresser, working with kids, and a social worker. And I didn't understand exactly how to enter the STEM field. And, and when I created my organization, I believe in Ontario, we're the second organization that as a nonprofit focuses on bringing underrepresented groups in STEM. And so it was a little bit challenging because I didn't understand, first I didn't know how to code, I didn't understand science, I didn't understand engineering. And then I got onto talking to as many people as possible. I said, my thing is that I know that I am too old to go back to school and learn how to code or anything else. We're never really too old, but for me, I felt that I really wanted to bring opportunities to women so that the next generation will have these opportunities that I didn't have. So, with that said, when I started the organization, I had an amazing group of people around me, and they pushed me to go beyond my limits. I'm not going to say at my limits, beyond my limits, the most uncomfortable areas, So I don't know how to run a nonprofit, but I learned how to run a nonprofit. I didn't understand how STEM worked, but I learned how it does. So I knew that it wasn't really for me, but because I create opportunities, I have 2 daughters and I want to make sure that they have those opportunities, but also knowing that I can do something that makes an impact in young women's life. It's like when you have a passion for something, it feels like you find a way to make it happen. So that was my journey. And it was very encouraging to see that, again, when I started VOLUTION in first year, I just told people this is what I want to do. And I had the network of supporters. I like to call them my champions. And they came in and says, here, I'm going to donate my time. I'm going to donate space. I'm going to donate resources. And let's make sure that, we make this happen, because I agree, we do need to see more women in STEM. And the way that I feel about it now, I feel like I'm really glad that I started this, because if I wouldn't have, I would have met amazing people in the field. I would have met these young women that are so excited to get into, in the field. And it felt like if it wasn't for VOLUTION, they wouldn't have opportunities. And, it really makes me feel, I can sleep at night really well because of it, even though sometimes it's stressful, but I can sleep at night really well knowing that at the end of the day, I made an impact in some young women's life and they have opportunities. And the fact that when I get this, when I get them to send me messages back and say, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be where I am today. Because of you, I got to meet some amazing people and they opened doors for me. Because of you, I got to work with mentors. Because of you, I got to meet people like Marki that works with these young women to make sure that they learn so much. So it was well worth it. Like I wouldn't be able to do anything else. That's how I feel about it. And now, Ewuraesi, you can tell us your story.
Thanks. I think for me, the obstacles that I faced were definitely the misconception that you had to be really good at math or anything else STEM related. Like many other things, I think if you enjoy it, that's great, and you can learn to be good at it. And I just had this misconception that I already had to be good at it to do it. So I had to battle that, as well as thinking that I had to learn every coding language once I decided I wanted to learn to code. So there's, tons and tons of them. There's a million out there. And I figured, oh my gosh, I don't even know where I'm going to start, because do I have to learn 10, like 20? How many do I have to learn? So I think at some point I had to kind of take a step back and really figure out, like, it's like learning everything else. You take one step at a time. And so I had to start with one language first. And for me, it was HTML, CSS, because that was going to be the easiest. So that's what I started with. And obviously building on that and getting better at that meant that I could now jump into something else like JavaScript and then eventually Python. And I don't think that I'm an expert in any of these, but now they're not as daunting to me. And they also make it easier for me to be able to learn other languages, because now I just figure, well, I'm just going to take one step at a time and learn them all. So I think that's kind of the thing that I'm still battling with now. Sometimes I do get that little voice in my head that says, oh, this looks like a really complicated coding language. And then I just have to remind myself, you just need to take one step first, and then you'll be fine. Back to Farina.
Wonderful. So thank you all for that. And this next question is one of my favorites to ask, and I'm sure that everyone else watching today will really appreciate it. So do you have any advice for young women that are actually interested in a career in STEM? Let's start with Marki. And for all the attendees, just remember, if you have any questions for any of the panelists, put them in the chat area and we'll be sure to answer them later.
All right. Yeah, thank you. So what I would say is that once you actually get going, so first you need to take that first step, right? And you need to go to school, but let's maybe fast forward to your first internship or your first placement or something like this. What I would really suggest is that you are able to find people who are going to advocate for you. It's really hard to advocate for yourself a lot of times, because you may look defensive sometimes, or you may look egotistical. So if you can create a bunch of people around you and they can write in Slack, like, wow, did you see what Marki did today? Like, obviously be your name, but like, she shipped this or did this. And then, it doesn't look like you are kind of like being egotistical, and it can go the other way too. So I just think, like, if you can create a good group of people around you to advocate for you, that's a great thing to have. And just kind of like also trying to meet as many people as possible, trying to keep an open mind when you're meeting people. I talked about this at the end of the podcast, how I have a terrible tendency. My first impressions of people are almost always wrong. And then the more I get to know someone, the more I'm like, oh my goodness, this person is so cool. They have all of these crazy skills and knowledge and stuff. So I would just say, try and keep an open mind and meet lots of people and form relationships, so that, because you never know where or when these people can come and help you in your life. And don't be afraid to ask for help. I know lots of people don't want to do it. Everyone wants to be autonomous in North America and do it themselves. And I would say, try not to do it yourself. Try and get lots of help. So there you go. Oh, sorry. And maybe Ewuraesi?
Thanks. I think my advice would be keep going. And similar to Marki's, is find advocates in in people who don't look like you. Like she was saying, I found it when I was trying to learn how to code initially in my class, and I'd gotten good enough to then be a mentor. It was important for the men who were there to kind of redirect questions to me when people asked them, because a lot of the times I would get overlooked. So someone would have a question and they would just assume that the man could answer the question better than I could. And so they would go and ask the man. And it was really good to kind of build those relationships with the men, like Marki was saying. And they kind of got to a place where they would then redirect to me. They'd be like, actually, Ewuraesi would be a really good person to answer that. You should go ask her. And like Marki is saying, if I was doing that for myself, it could come across as being defensive. If I was telling people like, no, come ask me, I know all the answers. But when you have other people there who then advocate for you, it makes it a little easier. So I think that'd be my advice. Find people who aren't like you, which isn't always the easiest, but also keep going. Don't get discouraged by the little things that happen that you may not like. Sanaa.
Thank you. My advice would be to keep learning about STEM and keep talking to like other people in STEM, whether that be like reaching out to them on like LinkedIn or email, like even during these like remote times. I feel like it's really important to like have those conversations going, just talking to them, even if you're just like thinking about going into a career in STEM. And just like Marki and Ewuraesi said, like asking questions, and even if you think you shouldn't, like ask them anyways, because you never know where the conversation might take you and what you will learn. So big advice that I was given when I was trying to get into STEM was like use Google as like a library of your resources. Like there's so many courses online that you can do. Like if you're unsure about like STEM and how you feel about it, there's courses online, there's like events you can join. And I'm sure like since everyone's home now, like you can even join like STEM events online virtually. And I feel like just asking those questions and getting to know more is what will help you like launch your career or like get interested in the career in STEM. I'll pass it to Doina.
Yes, for me, my advice is try as many things as possible now that you're young and you have the opportunity to explore without the consequence. I have to pay my bills later, so I can't really do this because, once you're young, you have the opportunity to try explore as many as possible, register for as many programs as possible, because you might realize that it could be one thing that you think, well, I don't even know, I don't think I'm going to like this, but try it anyways. Because you never know what comes out of it. It could be a newfound love. It could be something that you think, wow, now I see what I can do with this and I want to learn more. And that could be something, that could be your next career. So you just don't know unless you try. And especially that you're young, please try it. I wish I had opportunities like this because I could have been, I could work in a Shopify. I could work, I could have worked with Marki right now, but I'm here to make sure that you have that chance. So try as many as possible. Try as many programs as possible when you're young. That's, thank you. Pareen?
Wonderful. So my last question for y'all today is, so how did you actually get involved with the STEMingUP program? And maybe, what has been your favorite part so far? So I will start with Sanaa.
Sorry. I was recommended to join STEMingUP from a mentor during my time in the WISE program at the University of Toronto. And funny enough, I actually missed the deadline for STEMingUP and decided not to apply until Doina emailed me and mentioned that there was this one last spot and I happened to grab it. Since then, I was a participant in 2018, and I've also been a part of the STEMingUP committee, helping with the curriculum since last year and as well this year. I'll pass it to Ewuraesi.
I had the honor of being part of it because I work with Britt Oberfield at Shopify, and she's worked with STEMingUP in the past, and I just kind of hopped on board, and I'm loving everything that I'm seeing so far. Marki.
Yeah, so similar answer for me. I was involved because of Britt. I'm not too sure if Britt reached out specifically or if it was possibly posted in one of our channels at work. I do like to do a lot of stuff in my free time that supports community, and being able to build this website or e-commerce business right now for a merchant with the girls is the best part by far. My Saturday. It's a highlight of my Saturday. So it's very cool. And Doina.
Yes, for me, well, I started VOLUTION 7 years ago, and our first, in the beginning, we had this program that was 4 days program, basically beginner stages of HTML and CSS learning with young women. And a lot of the young women that from the program, they said, we want more. What's the next step? I really want to get into this. I want to explore this. This could be my career. Like, how do I get in this field? And they had all these questions. I have the tendency to keep in touch with as many kids as possible. So once you get into the program, you're never going to get rid of me, but in a good way, because I'm trying to help and support you. But so when they're having all these questions, I was looking for ways to make sure that we provide that for the young women. So, and I realized that there weren't any programs that were affordable, any programs that were accessible, especially for the age group that I was working with, high school girls. And then I had a meeting with someone at Shopify, with Roberto, and we're just like passing through, let's just connect and see, what is Shopify, what is VOLUTION? And he's like, I need to introduce you to Brittany. You have to meet, because I think we need to do this to get involved. And then I had a meeting with Brittany. And by the way, Brittany, you're awesome. We just had a couple of meetings, and we talked. I told her my idea, what I want to do. She came through and she's like, yeah, I think we can help and support you. So, with Brittany's support, Shopify was the founding partner for this program, and then we started now, and this is the 3rd year, and that's how I got involved into creating the program. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you all to all the panelists today, and please give them a virtual round of applause. Woo, that was great. I'm really grateful that you could all be part of our panel today and, really help inspire these young women to take charge and get involved in their career in STEM. I'm sure that our attendees got so much from it as well. And just everyone, please keep adding your questions to the chat. Please know there's no wrong questions. If you have a question, somebody else probably has it too, and we will answer them during our question and answer session at the end, and as well, of course, on our Instagram stories. Next, I'm very happy to introduce you to Shirley, who is a former student who participated in the program in 2018 and in 2019 and has learned both Python and JavaScript coding, as well as gained a bunch of leadership skills by coordinating the program last year.
Hi, my name is Shirley, and I'm currently a grade 12 student at Jarvis Collegiate Institute. And I was a participant of the STEMingUP program in 2019 and 2018, and also the student coordinator of the JavaScript cohort in the STEMingUP program last year. I was introduced to STEMingUP by my computer science teacher, and with my passion for tech, I decided to join those wonderful girls at the STEMingUP for my summer between grades 10 and 11. And before I started going to the program, I thought we were going to do a lot of like pure coding or studying like how we are in school. But we learned a lot more than that. We did basic programming in HTML, CSS, but we also got to meet different people from the industry and learn about different topics like user experience design, marketing, product pitching, product testing, and meet people like Marki and all the wonderful people from the industry. And coming to the STEMingUP with no experience in Python, HTML, or CSS, I was able to write programs and create simple web pages at the end. And here's an example of the Python program that I wrote on the right. It is amazing how much I learned during that summer. It took about 25 pages of notes, and this information not only gave me more insight into the industry, but topics like critical thinking also helped me to be more successful in school. And every year, STEMingUP program gives the girl a chance to learn about real company and help them solve like a challenge. And this is what my partner and I worked on the 2018 program, where we helped the company called Nick's Team to spread words about their products and to help teenage girls without a credit card to purchase items online. With all the knowledge that we learned throughout the program, we came up with a marketing plan and developed a few pages of the website with HTML and CSS to display the added feature from our solution. And I think it is very beneficial for me to have the chance to really understand what it takes to work on a project like this. And with the great experience from STEMingUP 2018, I came back to the program for year 2 as a participant, but also as a student coordinator of the program. I met more girls who are passionate about STEM, and we had an enjoyable time learning various of topics. And we had mentors also during the program that helped us with project that we worked on for the startup company called Kim Niles. And as a student coordinator of the program, I gained many soft skills, such as leadership, communication skills, and those really helped me to grow and be better in the future. And here's a picture of us on the first day of STEMingUP 2018. Although STEMingUP is a summer program, but my learning didn't end there. After the program, the girls are given mentors, paired with mentors who guide us and improve ourselves throughout our school or help us learning in STEM, just like Doina has mentioned. And also, since last October, I have been working with a team of 5 girls from STEMingUP to continue on the project that we started during STEMingUP last year to help the company Kim Niles to sell her hair and body products online. And our team meets online every Saturday on Google Hangout, and Marki would be the one to guide us in developing the website. And we use Shopify to create website, but also wrote extra code like JavaScript or CSS to add additional designs or to customize our features. And we also got help from content strategists and a designer from Shopify, and we all have learned tons from them. And I think it is very valuable for me to have the chance to apply things that I learned into developing the website. Next year, I'll be studying computer science at first year university, and I have also applied to dev degree, which Sanaa is in right now, and have gotten lots of support from Doina, Marki, Sanaa, and Brittany, as you can see on the site chat. And I hope to hear back from dev degree very soon. So that's all about me, and thanks.
Thank you, Shirley. You were fantastic. If you have any questions for Shirley, please feel free to add them into the chat, and then we will add them to the Q&A right after.
Yes. So thank you, everyone. We're almost at the end of our session today. And before I answer your questions, I wanted to tell you a little bit more about what to expect this year in the seminar program. So you will still get to learn coding, Python, and JavaScript. You will be part of a challenge. However, given that this, of the COVID-19, we're going to tackle a larger issue brought about by the pandemic, and we'll be solving challenges related to COVID-19. The challenge theme for this year are first responders, online learning, youth mental health during a pandemic, and senior care. You can get excited about this because joining the program involves creating solutions to issues currently affecting people around the world. So you'll be changing the world while here. So it will be interesting to take on some of these challenges, as the seminar program will be online this year as well. Someone asked that question. So yes, this program will be online this year. And then I'm going to encourage you to register for the program, so you'll have the opportunity to include your creative ideas to any of the challenges that I mentioned earlier, and while interacting with coaches, facilitators, and your peers in a meaningful way. Remember that you still have the opportunity to develop business skills such as marketing and financing, design, pitching. This will help give you a well-rounded experience in the program, so that doesn't change. There will also be information about post-secondary opportunities and how to navigate your way to a career in technology. We'll have Humber College explain to you how to get bursaries and how to get some scholarships and whatever, how could that help you and support you into your post-secondary. But what's really exciting, you also have the opportunity to learn more about how to get into the dev degree program at Shopify, which if I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, is the program is a co-op program that once you go to either Carleton University or York University, you'll have the opportunity to go part-time to school and part-time at Shopify, work at Shopify. You want to work with Marki and Brittany and Ewuraesi. But most importantly, you get to learn from people. One of the best tech companies, a Canadian tech company, and you get to learn from the best people that you could possibly meet. And also you have the school paid for. So what a great incentive to be part of this program. And you will also be matched with a mentor. So we're going to continue with the mentorship program after you finish your STEMingUP in the summer. So the mentors in the past have helped students with applications for college or university, figure out what your goals are in life and how to get there. How do you get to, learn how to network or build your proper resume and get the summer job? So those are some connections that you can make to help you with your career in the future. And most importantly, you get to meet me, but most importantly, you get the opportunity to meet some amazing young women that you can embark on this journey with. Our goal is to see you succeed in your future career. That's it for now.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Doina. I see some great questions are being asked throughout the chat. So now we will take this opportunity to answer as many of them as we can. So I would ask everyone to turn their video and audio back on. And yeah, it's time for the Q&A. Wonderful. So one of the first questions that I saw, it was actually pitched by Brittany, was what is actually a recent challenge that you have faced and how have you used your skills to overcome that? And maybe what have you learned from that? So yeah, if anyone wants to jump right in and answer that, that'd be great.
I can jump in since my mic is already on. I could say that the challenges for us at VOLUTION is making sure that we make this program accessible. I know that the pandemic has been an eye-opener to know that so many young women may not even have a computer at home or they may not have access to internet. I'm happy to announce that we do have laptops to lend to students that are interested to join the program and they may not have one at home. And also I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but thanks to Marki for making an amazing donation, we're able to supplement the internet access for the girls that cannot afford it. I don't know if I was supposed to say that. I'm sorry that I said it, but thank you. Like, she is so amazing that she said, I want to make sure the program goes on. And then she just made an amazing donation to make sure that that's happening. So that has been a challenge. Other than that, everything is awesome. So who else want to answer?
I think I can answer that question as well. It's more coding related, but last week I had a day where I was facing errors upon errors. I'd solve one problem and then I'd get up, I'd have another problem. And so throughout that day, I realized that it's more important to take a minute out of someone else's day than you taking an hour to solve that problem instead. So I feel like that's something that I can pass on to all of you guys that are watching. So it's just better to ask someone a question instead of struggling and trying to figure out how to do it, and it takes up more time out of your day.
Great. So moving on to the next question, I think this is a really valid one, is how can men support the initiative of women in STEM? I know that Marki and Ewuraesi kind of brought this up during a bunch of their answers. So if any of you want to start, that'd be great. Ewuraesi, if you want to start.
Sure. I think that is a really good question. I find that it's in supporting the women who are in STEM, kind of supporting them with resources. So if you come across something as a man in the industry that you think might be beneficial to anyone, share it first with a woman, or share it first with someone that you wouldn't typically share it with, and kind of give them the opportunity to be able to use those resources just like anyone else would. I find that sometimes it's really hard for people who feel like they're in the fringes to find access to information that everyone else has, or they're just afraid to ask for that sort of information. So yeah, I would say it'd be share it first with the other.
All
Yeah,
right.
I love that
Wonderful.
answer. Can I also add something really quick?
Yeah, for sure.
So I really lucked out my first 2 years at Shopify. My lead, so my boss, he was just such an amazing boss that I had, and he just found so many opportunities for me. So, you know, it would be talking at an all hands, talking at town hall. These are all internal, like, you know, meetings and presentations. He'd always put my name in and say, "Oh, Marki, do you want to try this? Do you want to do that?" And all I had to do was say yes. And it was terrifying and I was nervous, but as long as I said yes, then I got the experience and I got to go. So, and I know sometimes it's hard to say yes, but making someone believing in you and saying, I think you should take this opportunity, at least try it once, for men in the community to do that is awesome.
Great. Anyone else have anything to add?
Yeah, sorry, I gotta add something. For me, it's very important that I see a lot of men actually come in and support women. I think it's so important. But I also think, you know, at VOLUTION, you know, sometimes we have men that come in and help young women during the program. It's because I want the young women to feel that men are actually approachable. They're here to help as well. There's a lot of men that actually want to help and support young women. And just take away that I'm feeling scared to ask a question or is intimidating, I'm embarrassed. It's like, I think that seeing men come in and help women, you know, some of them are mentors, you know, and I think it's very comfortable. A lot of young women that have had men mentors that were from Shopify, we've had men mentors and from other companies that jumped in, and, you know, they're very helpful. So at a young age, when you come in the program and you're going to see men, they're not there to scare you, they're here to support. And that's very important to know and to understand, because as much as men want to come and help, it's also important for us to feel like I can accept the help. So accept it when they come in and help you. I'm not sure if that helped, but if I answered the question, but yeah. All right.
Perfect. So I think the next two questions pertain mainly to Doina, but so they are, how many people are you accepting into the program this year? And I know that you already brushed up a little bit about this, but the next one was, is it going to be online?
Yes. So the first question, I'm going to answer the second one first. Yes, the program will be strictly online. You'll have plenty of opportunities to meet professionals. We're trying to humanize the process as much as possible. And in terms of the number of students, we have room for 40 students. The way that it works is we have, the program is 2 years. 1 year, you're going to learn Python or JavaScript, and then the next year, you're going to learn the other language, either JavaScript or Python, the one that you haven't learned. And to help with this is that some students might feel like they might want to take a year off so they can also come back. So there's a lot of flexibility, but we do give priority to students that have started in year one, so they have to come back. And then whatever seats we have left over, we try to bring new students. I still don't know. I don't have a firm number as to how many young women are coming back this year, but we do have some spots available for the girls to come to, and being that we're going to have this online, we're always going to find ways to squeeze someone else in. I mean, if you're really interested in the program, like Sanaa was saying, she missed the deadline, but she insisted anyways, and now she's a dev degree. So just ask questions, connect with me, and let's talk and make sure that let's see how we can make this possible for you.
Perfect.
My long answer.
So the next question is, and I think a lot of people will want to learn about this, is what is the 2-year commitment for the program Entail? Lorena is saying that she would love to participate in the program. However, she's unsure of what she can do for the next year, especially in the summer. So if any of you can shed light on some of the commitment needed throughout the 2 years, that would be wonderful. Yeah.
I can share a little bit. So we will have the program online. I'll go into a little bit detail. So they will come in for 1 hour in the morning where they learn about marketing, financing. So they'll have a professional development, and then we'll have 2 hours for coding. And we also we'll have the group sessions, like you're going to have your own study group because you're going to be on a team. So we'll open up a virtual access for you to join your team whenever it's convenient for you. So you're going to coordinate with your teammates and say, let's meet at this time to this time. We're going to set that up for you. So that's going to be the flexibility. But in terms of time commitment, is you come in for the minimum 3 hours per day that you're going to have either a trainer, the coding trainer, or you're going to have the professionals teach you the professional development.
Okay. And along with that, with the 2-year commitment, because we understand that like a few people might need to take up summer jobs, Corona this whole COVID crisis is kind of financially impacting people. The VOLUTION program is actually offering a subsidy for a few of the girls. If you get involved and apply for it, you can actually make some money from the program, and that's wonderful. So you don't really have to worry about, do I have to pick up another job while I'm learning all these skills? We're here for you.
Yeah. Well, thank you to Shopify for making this available. We have funding to give up to $200 a week to girls that are in our program. So instead of getting a summer job, you come and learn and you get paid. You will have to apply on the application. You will have to say that you need it. So, and depending on your income level, we make sure that we'll give you a stipend so that you can participate in the program and take the worries away of getting the summer job, right? And I think is great. And also, as I mentioned, thanks to Marki, I'm going to put you on the spot again. Thanks to Marki, we will supply. We have some funding to give you a credit for your home internet, because we understand that you need that to be in the program. So we want to make that accessible. This is the first time we have the stipend. Thank you, Shopify. Thank you, Brittany, for working so hard to make that happen. And this is the first time we have, we want to cover the internet cost for this. And also you can borrow a laptop from us.
Wonderful. So since there are so many great questions, we're going to go a little bit overboard over time and answer 2 more before we wrap it up and answer the rest on Instagram. So the next great one is by Kiara. She talks about how she really likes coding, but she feels a little bit inexperienced. Like a few of you mentioned, that's how you felt too in the beginning. So what is your advice for someone who is going into a social sciences program in university, because that's a big passion? So for example, psychology, but they would also love to do an internship at a programming tech company as well. So do you have any tips to offer them? I know that Marki and Ewuraesi, you were also talking about like that was kind of a part of your journey too. So if you guys want to jump in and answer that, that would be great.
Sure, I can jump in. So I think that's amazing. My journey has taken me so many different places, and I feel like no matter where I go and what I learn, I'm able to bring that into my role and my skill set. And I've had an intern at Shopify, and he also did a social science program at U of T, and then he came in and did a coding internship at Shopify. So you really don't have to be in a specific co-op program to do an internship at Shopify. You just have to have a passion. And I think someone might need to mute. And just have some experience, though. It can't just be an idea you have or something that you wish you put time towards. Make sure that you take some of your spare time if you're really into coding and do some tutorials or make some websites. And then you should still be able to get an internship if you're doing both. Ewuraesi?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I myself have a psychology degree. So I went to UBC and did psychology. So I didn't know at the time that computer science could have been a cool thing. Boo me. But here I am. Like Marki was saying, I supplemented that though with with taking classes on coding specifically. So I think it's important to kind of find that supplement if that's something that you're interested in. So when you do apply to internships at these programming companies, you can show that you at least have the initiative or you're being proactive about wanting to be a part of the industry. And I think that accounts for something in itself.
Yeah, I just wanted to like quickly add, there's a lot of like free coding courses right now. Like if you search up like Harvard Computer Science, there's like a bunch of like 12-week long courses that you can take for free up until like, I guess the remotes, like whenever this is happening, this is ending.
Great, guys. So the last question for the day is actually pitched by Taya, and she talks about how something that someone's been telling her a lot, and honestly, I think it's told to everyone, is that new languages are constantly coming out, and I think that can really add to that fear of feeling inexperienced because you don't know where to start. And so she feels like maybe she won't be able to keep up with these new languages in the future. Do any of you have any advice for learning and studying? And should she be worried about that, about like things constantly updating and how to keep like on task with that? Yeah, so if anyone wants to start.
As Marki had told me before, she just said that if you're in this industry, you have to continue learning all the time. So it is fine that like there's all the language coming out all the time, but you just have to keep on learning the new things. And even if you're actually in the industry, you don't have to like remember everything like you do on a test. You can just go on Google and like find someone to help you. And that's what we do a lot during our meetings. And I don't think you should be worried about that.
Perfect answer, Shirley. Yeah, that was right on. Yeah, I just have to say that you need to be in love with learning. You just want to be able to keep on learning new things throughout your whole life. It's not a finite system where you're going to be done one day. So if that makes you feel good and growing makes you feel good, then being a developer is probably a good choice for you. And yeah, like Shirley said, I have a terrible memory. Shirley knows this. I have to Google stuff all the time. But I know when I found the right answer because I've seen it before, and all I need to do is like have it in the mental model somewhere. So you don't need to memorize everything. You just have to be able to find the information and know what's the good from the bad. Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, you go, Sanaa.
Yeah. So just to like add on to what Marki and Shirley said, I think it's really important to like learn the concept of it. Because once you know like the theory, it's really easy to transfer between languages because the only difference is like syntax. So that's something that like, as mentioned before, that's something that you can like search up, and like documentation is like all available online. But as long as you like understand the theory base of it, you can just like easily transfer between like languages.
Ewuraesi, I think you're muted.
Can you hear me now? So awkward. I was saying, I think the other thing to do is to trust in your brain, because brains are amazing in what they do. And you remember songs that you probably learned when you were 10. So trust that, if you learn a thing and you continue to learn it, like Marki was saying, that it will stick. So I think that's another thing to remember.
One thing that I was going to say, although I'm not a woman in STEM, but like I said, I learned so much. I know, and I'm not trying to sell this program too much here, but the program is all about the fundamentals of computer science. So you will learn, if you have the fundamentals, you'll be so much easier to add on to when you go, to your next job, or like to when you go to school and your next job. So, I think like everything, you have the base, you'll be able to add on to that after. So yeah, I hope that helps. Can I hear you, Pareen?
Okay, the same thing happened to me, but thank you everyone for sending in your questions. We're at the end of our Q&A, but don't worry, everything else that hasn't been answered will be on the Instagram stories. And with that, passing it on to Doina.
Yes, so just like Pareen said, we're now at the end of the session. So I want to thank all the panelists. Thank you, Shirley, for putting your presentation last minute. Thank you, Ewuraesi. Thank you, Marki, for jumping in as always. Thank you, Sanaa, for saying yes to everything I asked you. Thank you. And thank you, Pareen, for coming in and help with this panel. You did an amazing job. And thank you, Brittany, for supporting this. Thank you, Shopify. Please, I'm going to answer the remaining of the question. If it was something that was for me, I will answer it for myself. If not, I'm going to ask any of the panelists to tell me the answer, and I'll put that on Instagram stories. And also, feel free to send us messages there on, as you can see here, this is our Instagram account. Make sure that you will ask me questions on the DM. On Instagram, and then I hope that you're all having an amazing day, and I cannot wait to meet you in the program. So thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.